All right, today we are in the Lenoir City Hall of Fame room. We're speaking with Howard Cusick, Joe Hall, and Junior Collins. And we'll talk about various things concerning their memories and their experiences here at Lenoir City. We'll talk about Coach Willie Joe Smalley, who was a legend at the school. And we'll talk some about some of the best eras and some of the best teams at Lenoir City. So first of all, we'll start from my left. Howard, tell me about the background and community you grew up in.
Well, I grew up in an area just on the edge of the county, right next to Knox County at Dixie Lee Junction. Okay. Lived there until I got married. And Tammy and I rented a little house just out past the high school here for about 18 months. And then I bought the house that I was raised in, moved back and stayed 10 more years. And then we built a house out on Ford Road in 1992. So I've only lived in two houses in my entire life. So Lenoir City through and through.
So you went to Highland Park then?
I went to Highland Park for 8 years. And then my class was the first one to come to Lenoir City High School as a freshman. Up until that time, when you left the county school, you had to go to Lenoir City Middle School, which is where River Oaks, I think, is now, in downtown. So you'd go there for 1 year, and then when you came to Lenoir City, it was just grades 10, 11, and 12. But my class was the first one to come to Lenoir City High School, and we went all 4 years there. Ed Osborne was the principal at that time, and Ed retired when I graduated in 1976.
Wow. I didn't realize that about that ninth grade. Mm-hmm. So Earl Thomas was the basketball coach?
He was the principal and the basketball coach. Funny story about Earl. He would call some child up to class, up to his desk when we were in school, and hand him a dime and tell him to run down to McGinnis's grocery store and get him a pack of Rolaids every day. You had to cross Highway 11 in a curve and go get a pack of Rolaids for Earl. Can you imagine doing that today?
No, that'd be your last day as a teacher.
It certainly would.
Yeah.
And he carried a paddle, and he used it.
Did you ever miss a math problem in the classroom?
No, but I did one time refuse. Well, I didn't refuse. He asked me to put a problem on the board from the homework the day before, and I said, Mr. Thomas, I don't know how to do it. And he said, you get up here right now. So I went up there and I started trying to put it on the board. Well, I wasn't watching him, and he snuck up behind me, and he lit me up while I was putting it on the board. And when I got through it, I had done it correctly, and I thought I was wrong. So, yeah, he wouldn't have survived long in today's environment. But I loved that man.
People did.
And then he was our basketball coach, but he demanded perfection. Yeah. We played Lenoir City Middle 1 year at the old middle school downtown, and Lenoir City beat us. So for the next hour after the game, we ran sprints and practiced on their floor after the game. Yeah, he demanded perfection.
Those are good stories.
Really good.
How about you, Joe? Where did you grow up?
I grew up here in Lenoir City. I was born here in Lenoir City, up on 303 Kingston Street.
Okay.
And that's where my grandmother lived. And I went to school here, graduated here, went to the university, and graduated in 1961. From the university.
Of Tennessee?
Yeah.
Okay.
And when I was in graduated December, so I was kind of out of a job there. I wanted to teach, but after a few weeks of substituting a little bit here and there, Mr. Butler, who was our superintendent at the time, said, we've got an opening here at the high school for a social studies teacher. I said, I'll take it. And so I started, my first year was 62, 63,
Okay.
making a salary of $3,600 for the year.
36.
And we were paid for 10 months, $360. That was before taxes. And, but yeah, that's, at the time I still lived at home. We got by. And I got in 30 years and retired in 1992. And I went to work for Goodies Clothing. Yeah, for about 12 years until they went under. And
You're not the reason why, though.
well, that's
I wanted to say it.
So what was the better job, Goodies or school teacher?
I don't know. That's, well, I had a lot of fun at Goodies. I mean, I was over the men's department, clothing and so forth, and
Okay.
it just, there wasn't the stress that there was in teaching.
Sure.
The last couple of years in teaching, it was hard, very stressful.
Don't forget your
And
Nichols
then-
School you coached before you coached at Lenoir City.
Well, yeah, I hadn't got around to that part.
Oh my gosh, he ain't got so much time.
Did you go to Nichols as a student?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And I went, when I started teaching there, had boys basketball, and Junior was one of my students, one of my players, best one that I had. And coached girls basketball at the high school then for about 2 years, and that was not a good experience. I think we won the first one game the first year. We couldn't hardly dribble the ball up the floor. And coached this next year, and then I got out of it. Glenn Williams took the program over, and I helped him for 2 years. Well, no, he had some good ball players, real good, and he stopped coaching. Then Mike Pickle come in, and he started coaching the boys, girls basketball. And I helped him too. So I really got out of it about 1980,
Okay.
79 to 80,
Yeah.
and that's pretty much some general summary of me.
No, you left out one most important thing. He was the first golf coach in the history of Lenoir City High School.
Really? What year was that?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
I mean, that's
I think our first year was 1970.
Okay.
and you talk about some good golfers he had. But the reason I said that, Joe came to our last induction ceremony in the Hall of Fame. Now,
Yeah.
All right. Junior, let's get into your background.
okay, of course I grew up in Lenoir City. I don't know if you heard that area right below the IGA. What was that called down there next to the cemetery? What was that area called?
Fountain.
Fountain.
Okay.
So in 1960, I would have been 8 years old. I was born in 52. We moved to town, so I went to Nichols. And I lived there until I went to college. And I played at Nichols, and he was my coach. And what was so bad about it, not bad about it, but what happened was I was so small. So Coach Smalley and J. Guy Butner went to my parents and said, we need to keep this boy back a year to let him grow. And a lot of people didn't like it. Harold Duff and He was assistant. He said, I don't like this. But I did. I stayed back. But what happened, that's when the junior high system was there up on the hill. And then eventually we come out to the high school, freshman, sophomore, junior, senior. Back then it was 7th, 8th, and 9th at the junior high. So I was a 9th grader. I tried to stay back a year at Nichols. Well, John Brannon, who was the football coach, I went out footballing, and for some reason, he wrote a letter to TWSD and asked him, since I stayed back, it knocked me out of playing. It made me ineligible. So we were at the high school, so I run to the Moore building every day, the 6th period, to practice with the varsity as a freshman, ineligible to play. They let me play in scrimmage games and stuff. So that messed me up on that end, but I went ahead and come out here to Lenoir City, played 3 years, and then played baseball and basketball, and played 2 years at Cleveland State. Then I went to University of Tennessee. I didn't finish up there. I only liked a quarter or two. I went to work TVA, then I went to work at Oak Ridge DOE. And I always wanted to be a coach. I wanted to be around kids, but it was the best thing that ever happened because the money-wise and in today's world, I can see it's hard to be a coach. It is so hard. You deal with the parents and the administration. So I ended up going to work at Y12, worked there 30 years, met the woman I'm married to for the last 44 years. Linda and I have been married almost 45, and we've been retired 20. I mean, that's a long time, 20 years. I'm 72 right now, but it has flown by. But there's nobody other than Howard I know that loves Lenoir City sports like we do. And then in 2007, I was inducted into the Lenoir City High School Sports Hall of Fame. And in 2010, they refurbished the stadium, and the school board and superintendent gave us this room. The reason I say that, we had a wall as you walk into high school, which is all these pictures are over there on the wall. We finally had a room to have a Hall of Fame. I'll give you a good example about it. Loudon has football Hall of Fame and baseball only. We cover golf, soccer, we do it all. They don't have a room. They just meet down under the football field or meet at the cafeteria. And we've had so many small colleges and high schools come and look at this because it's awesome. So I was inducted in 2007, and about 2010 or 11, I was on the committee. And of course, I had Glenn Williams as the chairman, and he died. And then they wanted me to take it over, so I took it over for the last 2 years. I'm the chairman of the Sports Hall of Fame. So the reason you see this background is that we've had probably, since 2010, this 14 years, we've probably had as many as 10 to 15 kids sign scholarships. On signing day, go to every sport, and they sit here. The
You're talking
athletes,
about on a yearly basis.
yeah,
10,
yearly.
15.
Yeah. The athlete sits here and the mom and dad and take a picture, and they get that and it goes in the paper.
Yeah.
But it has drawn more people closer to this Hall of Fame. I didn't know this was here,
Yeah.
And then on Friday night football games, I try to open and let people see it. But
And what year did you graduate?
1971.
71. You graduated in
1976. But Darrell, I want to say one thing too. This room is absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
It stays absolutely perfect. It would not exist if it weren't for that man right there. I'm worried that at some point when Junior decides he can't do this any longer, who's going to take it over? Who's going to keep it up? But I guarantee you that this Hall of Fame room would not still be alive and well and functioning if it weren't for Junior Collins.
Yeah.
And Linda.
Yeah, my wife, she does all the.
She works a lot in here as
Yeah,
well.
but go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, I was going to ask, what year did you graduate high school?
1940.
40? 30?
When did you graduate, Joe?
I graduated in 1957.
57.
Okay, 57. I was trying to get it.
And Howard graduated in 70,
76.
76.
Yeah, so I was -1 years old when he graduated. Yeah. Hey, let's just try to keep it in perspective.
Hey, you know what's something odd about him? He did his student teaching at Norse Is it high school, Joe? Or
It was in at Norris High School.
and my granddaughter goes to school there now,
Is that right?
Norris Elementary.
Yeah. Okay, let's get into some of your playing days. I'm going to ask each one of you, what was your best game as a Panther?
Oh my goodness.
Now, you play basketball only, right?
Yes, basketball is the only sport I played.
I thought you played baseball, Howard.
No, never played baseball. And I actually only played one full game, and about a fourth of the second game my senior season. And we were playing Harriman, and I was driving to the basket, and Bill Rice, I still remember the man's name, Bill Rice came in, he was going to block my shot, and his knee hit my knee in the side, and it buckled, and that was the end of my playing career.
Really?
Yeah, I never was able to play after that. I had surgery. The doctors kept saying it's just a bruise, and I wound up switching doctors, and after about almost 2 months, I wound up having knee surgery, and it knocked me out of my whole senior season. So really, my junior year, I did get to play my entire junior year. We only had 3 seniors on the team.
Okay, let me rephrase the question.
Okay.
So it'll be a little broader.
Sure.
What game do you remember the best? You can either do that, or what was your best game, or a combination. Sometimes it's two totally opposite things.
Yeah, obviously my best game would have been my junior season. Didn't score a lot of points, but I was 6'8", and there weren't many players that were my size. Rockwood had a guy that was 6'8" that I played against, but most of the time I was playing against smaller people. But I wasn't our heavy scorer. Grayling Littleton was probably the most successful offensively on our team. But the game that sticks out in my mind is the game that ended my career, my senior season.
Yeah.
Loved playing defense, loved blocking shots. That was a lot of fun to me. I can't tell you, Darrell, a game that just really stands out in my mind. I know our junior season, Willie Joe Smalley was the head coach, and he told us at the beginning of the season, it's going to be a long year, boys. He said, we'll be lucky to win 4 or 5 games. When we took Christmas break that year, we were undefeated, as I recall, at that time. I think we were 8-0 or 9-0, and Willie Joe was just shaking his head. He couldn't understand how we were winning ball games.
Yeah.
So that was fun to prove Coach wrong. But I loved Willie Joe, and Willie Joe had a brother, Mitchell, that had a, I don't remember exactly what his handicap was, but
He had polio.
Polio is in
Polio.
wheelchair.
Yeah.
So he listened on WLIL radio. He listened to every game, and he kept stats for the games. He was the statistician for the team, and just from listening to Glenn McNish announce the ball games, and that was always really cool. Barry White was the assistant coach, and Barry had a number of, they called it the B team, the JV junior varsity team. And Barry would have JV teams that went undefeated. I mean, they had,
Howard, did Tommy Lee help him?
no, not during my
Okay.
not during my time.
Okay.
Joe Lee was my basketball coach. Joe's first year out of college, he became the freshman boys basketball coach at Lenoir City High School, and I was a freshman. And Joe believed in conditioning, and we ran and ran and ran. Some of our practices consisted of nothing more than running steps, running distance, running. We'd never pick up a basketball, but we'd run. Well, at that time, freshman teams played games on Mondays and Thursdays. The only day we didn't practice was Sunday. Joe would give you Sunday off, but 6 days a week you practice. So as you might imagine, with all that running, we lost every Thursday game. We were literally worn out. We won Monday games because we had Sunday off to rest. I think that finally sunk in, but at the end of the year, it's called the Great Lakes Conference. We went to the championship game and only lost by a couple of points because we out hustled people.
Yeah.
We were in a really good physical condition, probably the best condition I've been in my life.
About on a coaching scale, what game do you remember most?
I think probably 1975, our golf team was able to win the district tournament. And as far as I know, I don't know whether that's been done again or not. I just don't have the facts on that. But we were able to. You had 4 players on each team, and Gary Dye and
Ricky Moore.
Ricky Moore, Edgar Hillard,
Yeah.
and we had a boy named Steve Porter.
Oh yeah, Steve Porter.
And we were able to beat Oak Ridge by about 4 strokes. And then we were able to go on to the regional tournament. But we did pretty well, but we didn't win it.
Didn't you have
But
guys go to the state that year? Play in the state?
I don't think so.
Okay.
No. But they were just all dedicated golfers. I mean, they played year round.
How about you, Junior?
Okay, I played for 2 good coaches. I played basketball for Willie Joe Smalley, and I played baseball for John Casey Brannon. But I was very blessed. I played my sophomore, junior, and senior. I started my sophomore year. We were 21-10. My junior year, we were 27-6. Got beat by Chattanooga Riverside and knocked us out of state tournament in this gym. I left Lenoir City High School in 1971 as the all-time leading scorer, more points. I'd held a scoring record until 20 years. Matt Hurst broke my record, and I had a record of 41 points in one game. And my senior year at Spring City, I played 2 quarters and 2 minutes of the third quarter, and Coach Smalley took me out. I never played another minute, and that's one of them nights I could have probably threw my tennis shoe up there and it went in. I could have had 70. I mean, I was just one of those nights. But I left Lenoir City with 41 points, a modern day record.
And I think you ought to point out, Darrell, at that point there was no 3-point line.
No 3-pointers. It's true.
So that made a tremendous difference.
Yeah.
He scored that many points, and they were all 2.
You know, it's funny how you remember. I was like,
Is there one game, though, that stands out?
I guess we won the district, beat Kingston, and that would have been 1969.
Okay.
Let's see, there's so many good games. Oh my gosh! And of course, played for Coach Smalley, Barry White, and Tommy Leake. Barry White and Tommy Leake both played at Hiawassee and at Westland, but played with a lot of good players. Played a lot of the boys I played with in the Hall of Fame. One of the guys I remember went to Howard Church, Jerry Wilkerson. He signed a D1 scholarship at East Tennessee State and played 4 years. We've had some good athletes. I mean, of course, then I went on to played 2 years at Cleveland State, played basketball. Then I went to UT, but I guess that winning the district meant a lot.
Yeah.
And then one game away from going to state and having a 27-6 record. I never forget, we were 9-0. I think he said they were 8-0. Ranked number 2 in the state. Played Kingsport, somebody that beat us 20 points. I mean, it's just like Tennessee the other day, lost to Florida by 30. It's just kind of put us back in reality.
Right.
But we were very blessed be able to play in this gym. And I can't tell you how things have changed at Lenoir City High School as far as facilities. Oh my gosh. AstroTurf baseball, AstroTurf football, brand new softball complex, 4.1 renovation to the gym. First time in the history it's air conditioned. dressing rooms, classrooms. We've been blessed.
Put a lot of money in.
And then it's like I say,
A lot of money.
a lot of money, but the facilities are awesome here,
Yeah.
and I'm very blessed to be part of it. I love the kids, and I still attend every sporting event they are, and but very blessed to be part of it.
Yeah. What teammates do you still keep up with, or still close friends of yours that you played with?
I keep up with Grayling, Littleton, with Edgar Hillard. Edgar and I, actually Grayling as well, we all graduated from Highland Park.
Okay.
Went all the way through school together. As a matter of fact, we still, once a month, as a class of 1976 to this day, we get together once a month, us and our wives, pick a restaurant and we'll go eat somewhere. Sometimes there will be 3 people there, and sometimes there will be 18 or 20 people there. But Edgar still participates in that, and so does Grayling. So that's probably the 2 guys that I have remained close with through the years.
That's good.
You know, I was going to mention one other thing about not much been said about girls basketball, but a highlight was in 1974. We played Bradley County in the regional finals here. And it was a sight to see.
Is it?
Yeah,
Coach Smitty, I guess, was it? Bradley
Coach
County?
Smitty, he's something else now. But
That'd been Marietta Blackburn.
Marietta,
Yeah.
3-on-3, Joe.
Yeah, and that was a different game as well. 3 offense, 3 defense for
Yeah.
girls. I don't think that changed till
Marietta
1978.
had 52 points in that
50,
game.
yeah, 52 points
And no
in
3-point
that
line.
game. And I mean, she was throwing in shots that it's unbelievable.
Billy Pickle.
But that.
Is that the road commissioner? Oh my gosh. You should have answered it.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, that's pretty much what I was going
Okay.
to say about her. She,
You know, you're talking about playing with, like Howard talking about these buddies there. There's only 1 or 2, a couple of them have died. Jerry and Paul Walker, Jerry Washington and Paul Walker, but it's odd. Jerry and Paul both signed with East Tennessee State when they were seniors. And then when I was a junior, and then next year I signed with Cleveland State. So Paul, believe it or not, transferred. You know the word transfer now. He transferred from East Tennessee State and played with me at Cleveland State. So both of them. But another guy, I know you know Ed Chipley down at Wilburns. He was on my team, and Coach Smalley's brother-in-law went down there. He come in and visit one time and stopped there. He said, "Hey, you know Junior Collins?" And Ed Shipley told him, he says, "Yeah, he knocked me out of the NBA because he never would let me have the ball." He tells that story. But really, I don't really in touch with many of them
Yeah.
because I'm closer to hiring people in sports now than I am people that. A lot of them don't come, do they, Howard?
Oh, a lot of them don't come anymore.
Yeah.
I got to tell a quick story though on Marietta. Marietta graduated in 1974, and I was a freshman, so she was 2 years ahead of me. And Joe Lee would get the girls team, girls varsity team, to practice against the freshman boys team. And we would do drills together. We would run what used to call suicide. You start on the end line and do foul line back, half line, foul line on the other end, and full court. And I was a long, gangly, young, just turned 14-year-old. Marietta was on that other team. She pushed me harder than anybody ever had. I was not going to let a girl beat me running a wind sprint, but she was quicker than me. So I don't know if it's the will of God or what, but you would give 10 times the effort to not let a girl beat you, but she pushed us. And that whole team, they worked us really hard, and I think that was a benefit for us. I hope it was for them.
Yeah.
But that boy, that stands out in my mind.
Hey, Howard,
Never gonna
you're
get beat
talking
by a
about that.
girl.
This is funny. Mary Jane Raymer at Tot School out here. She married a guy from Kingston named Doug Raymer. He, to this day right now, he's a great scratch golfer. I mean, par. He plays with Marietta all the time. And one day she'll win, then next day she'll win. She's a competitor.
Yeah, she started playing golf while I was playing golf.
Yeah.
She,
Okay.
You may find her in the woods too with a gun.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay, stories about Joe Lee.
Yeah. Well, as I mentioned earlier, Joe's first year as a coach, first year out of college, he was the freshman boys basketball coach at Lenoir City, and we practiced 6 days a week, just like I said. Sunday was the only day that he gave us off. But Joe taught me from a very early age. He said, "Boys, get us all in the room and giving us a pep speech or whatever you call it." And he said, "Basketball should be your fourth priority, your number 4 priority." He said, "I want you to listen to me." He said, "God's number 1. God should be your number 1 priority." He said, "Your family should be your 2nd priority. Your schoolwork should be your number 3 priority. And basketball comes in 4th." And he said, "If you will keep your priorities in order, as I just described them, you will be successful." And I thank Joe Lee to this day for that. I told him that story. He said, "I can't believe you remember that." But it made such an impression on me as a 14-year-old young boy that I've tried to live my life that way. And I'm very thankful for Joe Lee for that.
Yeah, good guy.
See, Coach Molly, he had the numbers switched. Basketball's number 1.
Well, we're gonna talk about the 1950s now, and any stories you've heard about that. In the 50s, it was arguably the best era of Lenoir City basketball. Teams went to the state tournament in 55, 58, and 59, as you all know, winning in 58. They had you had to win 4 games at the state tournament that time to win the championship, and they defeated Chattanooga Central 34-33 in the championship game. Some of the people that I recognized the names when I saw the roster was Preston Allen, Harry Wilkerson, and Richard Pickle. I didn't know it, but Lenoir City also won the state championship. Y'all know this? What year?
1930.
1930. That's correct.
yeah.
So, can any of you tell me any stories you've heard about the state championship?